Find yourself a booth, order up a cold one. This is the Spring Bar.
Hey everybody, welcome to Spring Bar. Glad to have you here. I am Florida Mike. Today is our Christmas episode. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, whatever it is that you celebrate. Hope you're enjoying your time. This is also our last episode of the year. We're going to be going over some of our highlights of the year, some things that we've accomplished with the show and personally within our collections and watches, and some fun stuff for you today. Nothing too serious. As always, I am with my co-host, Collector Joe. Joe and Mr.
Joe the
Bigglesworth.
cat.
Yes, Mr. Bigglesworth. How you doing, Joe?
Hanging in there, man. Hanging in
Yeah.
there into the school year, which is always fraught.
Well, end of the semester,
uh,
not the school year.
the end of the year at school.
Unless you have an announcement to make, early retirement.
No,
Oh,
God,
okay.
no, not yet.
Well, not the end of the year then.
No. I turned 50 last year and started staring retirement kind of in the face, but then realized I have 15 more years to go. So,
well, how do you think I feel?
I don't know how you feel.
You've got 15. I have a few more.
Well,
after that.
Yeah, but you're gonna need to kind of promote yourself out of the Gator Wrangler space.
Yeah.
Although you see those Gator people, and some of those dudes are grizzled, so you might get there yet.
Is that what my future holds? The look of a grizzled old man?
All I'm saying is that Florida man doesn't age well. I mean, it's never too late to start meth, but still.
Okay. Oh, on that note. Oh, goodness. So we're going to get into new watches because you have an epic new watch.
I do.
And as we were just discussing, you're the first person on Instagram, at least, to be showing off your new watch. Nobody else seems to have gotten one yet.
I don't disagree with you. So why don't you can throw the picture up.
All right.
I have the Complecto and Bulova Super Seville collaboration watch. They released 3 versions of this. There is a Snowflake Obsidian, so sort of a black dial with these weird white splotches on it, and it is in a rose gold PVD. There is a tiger eye and a gold PVD, and this is the turquoise in stainless. So the deal is, though, these are stone dials. They're not faux. It's not a printing. It's an actual stone dial.
Yeah, and this is the real legit deal.
Real deal, right? And so remember the Tiffany dial was real popular last year, which is it's a similar color, but this has got that black veining in it. That's what makes turquoise so nice. It's a really, really cool watch. I mean, I got to handle yours last summer, and it was an excellent release. Not to take anything away from it. And part of the thing that I really like is the case shape. The Super Sevilles, when they were initially released, were date ripoffs, and this takes some of that design language but puts it in this unique case shape. And
well, but important to note, though, that these are a vintage design brought back.
Yeah, it is absolutely. Like, it was from the 70s, I believe.
Late 70s, 80s, somewhere around there.
Yeah, they were automatic. They're great. They're great watches, and you can get that with a day date as well. But they threw the precisionist movement in this, and then if you may not be able to see it here, but you can see pictures up on Instagram because I've been posting this sucker a lot. The printing on the dial is actually kind of a blue, and it highlights the dial color incredibly well.
Really? So that's not a black?
It's not
stamp?
a black. It's not black printing. No, none of it's. It's a deep blue.
Interesting.
Almost like a navy. Yeah, it's really interesting, and I didn't expect that at all. So it's a neat little touch. it's a killer watch. It's an absolutely killer watch. And so we had an inkling that this was going to be happening. And so I reached out to Complecto. They'd hinted at it and said, okay, we're coming up with something new. I'm like, okay, I know what that's going to be. And I reached out to Jason from Complecto. I was like, hey, I know what's coming. I don't want to skip the line. I just want to get in line. Can I get in line? Can I get in line now? He's like, I think we can arrange that. So I got in line they were going to do a release on the third, no, on the 11th was when
Well, that was kind of
notice
the
out.
pre-order window because it didn't
Yeah, and it
officially
was
get released until the 13th.
so like you get the idea. You can get in line. You can purchase the watch on that date, and there was a code, and it's all through Bulova. It won't be available at ADs. It won't be available at any other place. You got to go through bulova.com.
Hmm.
So they sent out the message. I bought it that morning, and it came the next day.
The next day.
I got it on Thursday. So
It also helps though that you're 2 or 3 towns away from the
yeah,
shipping warehouse.
yeah, I'm in the same area code, so it was
Yeah.
definitely a plus. And so I got the watch. It came Thursday night, and I was at a concert for my son's end of year concert or winter concert. So I had to post pictures at like 9 o'clock when it arrived at 6. So I
Hmm.
was 3 hours later, and all of this. So this is East Coast people were taking a look at it around midnight, and they're like, "You got it? Oh my god!" So yeah,
Yeah.
I got it. I got it before the Complecto people did it. It seems.
So limited edition. These are limited.
Yeah,
Each version is limited to 718 pieces, and that
correct.
is the area code for Queens. Is it? I believe
I'm not sure if it's Queens, if it's New York and Manhattan. I don't know. I don't have many people in New York, so I'm not making
it's
phone
a
calls.
it's a New York area code, which pays homage to where the original Bulva headquarters was.
And
And
Complecto is also a New York group,
yeah,
New York collector experience.
but the stone dials have been extremely popular. I would say the second half of this year is when they
Yeah,
really started to pick up in popularity. Um,
there's
it
been lots
just
of
makes
releases.
sense if you're going to do a limited edition to do something like this. I'm curious, does that make the watch heavier?
Doesn't appear to be. Doesn't seem to be
No.
because it's a really right. The way that they do the stone dial is there's a metal backing, and then it's a very thin sliver of stone that's put over it. So I would
Hmm.
imagine that it's not going to be much thicker than say lacquer or
Okay.
almost any other treatment that you would throw onto a dial. I'd probably put it in sort of the same thickness as maybe a porcelain dial.
Hmm.
So it's going to be
Okay.
a really thin piece of stone that they work down. So
So I
it's
think,
fascinating how I'd really love to understand how the blanks are made and what their process is because I think it's really neat looking.
yeah, I think you made an excellent choice. That stainless
Yeah,
and just the brilliance of that blue, which I would venture to guess, like we've always said, it looks better in person than it does in the photos.
the comments that I've been getting are that my pictures look better than the ones that are on the website, which is a first. No one's ever said that to me
Well,
before. So
because a lot of the pictures you get on the website are almost rendered photos
yeah,
or extremely doctored photos, and it makes them look a little fake almost. That's why I was really excited for you to show some photos because the real world photos are always different than what you see online,
yeah,
for sure.
absolutely,
But
absolutely,
looking at this, I mean, that's just a gorgeous, gorgeous color.
yeah,
Personally, I would have gotten that rose gold, the snowflake obsidian. I think
yeah,
that black with the pink gold, and I know you don't like the splotches, the snowflakes on it, but
yeah. Somebody brought
I
up
don't,
that it looks like water damage on the
I
dial.
don't mind that look. And I think the pink gold is absolutely gorgeous. Now, if they,
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I mean, remember because we talked about when you got your version of this watch that I was holding out
mhm,
for the Italian black dial version.
what you assumed was coming, which
Well,
is
yeah, because that's what they had done with the Jetstar and they'd done it with the Surveyor. that there's a
That
European
wasn't, yeah, that's not an
blackberry.
Italian version though.
Well, it's not available here. You can get it through Bulova, Italy. Right. So regardless,
Right.
that we saw the pictures of this and like, that's the one. That's
Yeah.
absolutely the one.
But if that rose gold continues later on in the regular production range, I don't know. I might be a rose gold owner.
You could be. You could be. I mean, I
Yeah.
could see you owning a couple of those. It's
Yeah.
the thing that's really fascinating about at least the colorways and this watch is that so it's going to work as a dress watch. It's thin. It slips underneath a cuff really well. It's interesting looking. You've got a
But it's
variety of colors.
and that's what I said. It's so versatile. You can
Yeah.
dress it up. You can wear it. You can wear it with the outfit that you have on right now. You can wear
Mhm.
it, to go out to lunch, to the
Yeah.
movies, grocery shopping, whatever. You name it. It's the perfect watch for that.
Yeah. It's great. They're fantastic. So that's my new watch.
So that's really cool. I'm really excited for you. And what's funny is we were welcoming you to the Super Seville Social Club, but you had Super Sevilles.
Yeah,
So
I have two of the older versions as well.
yeah, but
So we'll
this
do
is
a
pretty
review
cool.
and we'll do a comparison, and that'll come up in a couple days.
Oh,
I gotta put some thoughts together on it.
there you go.
All right. You have new watches.
I have a watch on loan.
You do.
I
Here-
so
Okay, so you immediately see the problem. That crystal, God, you can't photograph it. Isn't that something else?
yeah, that's
You cannot take a good picture of that watch.
no, it is not an easy thing to do.
So you need to respect the shots that I post of that. Damn it.
So I don't even know how this came up in conversation. You were sending me the yachting graph that you had some time with back. You're sending me another watch that needed some repair work, and I said, "Hey, while you're at it, go ahead and throw your mill ships in there." This is a
Well, I mean,
watch.
you had talked about it because you had seen one at the Citizen boutique, and you were wondering like maybe I should, do I need it? And I'm like, I'll just send you mine. And
Well, and
that'll
that's
scratch
exactly
that
right.
itch.
Every time I go into the Bulova store, which is quite often as it seems, this one of these is always in the case, and I've seen yours, and it's a watch that I like, but have never pulled the trigger on. And I thought, let me try and live with it for a little bit. So I said, throw that in the box too, and I'm gonna wear it for a little bit and see if I will appreciate it and like it enough to actually buy one. Um, and this is in no way trying to convince me that this is a cool or a special watch. I know that, and we've had many a discussion about this, and it's a spec watch, and it's really and not a reissue. It's kind of a first run watch because they made some prototypes, but it was never actually produced. They pulled out of it for a couple of different theories. The predominant one is that the order from the government would have been too small and not really worth their time to produce these watches. This was kind of the era of when the tuning fork was about to come out, and they were developing that, and I think they just wanted to focus on that because that was
Yeah,
much more of a bigger project and
1958.
and really it changed the watch industry. So I think probably the right move. Um, and then everybody kind of forgot about it until a handful of years ago, and they brought it back. And so it went into production for the very
Totally
first
under the
time.
radar too. Nobody knew that it was coming out. It just dropped suddenly. It's
Yeah.
like, wait, what the hell is that?
And I have it here. I'm not wearing it. We skipped an entire segment. We'll get back to that in a minute. But I've got it, and I've always said the 16 millimeter lug on paper doesn't make
Mhm.
any sense.
None.
But I think it is the one quirky feature of this watch that I love the most about it is that 16 millimeter lug. The thin
You know,
strap, for
to me,
some reason,
the
just
16
does
millimeter
something
goes
to it.
away. It goes away after a little bit because you don't think
Mhm.
about it as much. So that's that. Like to me, the better quirky feature is the bezel, and it's that
You like
push to
that
set.
that locking
Yeah,
bezel. Yeah, spring loaded, push it down, rotate it.
Yeah.
Which actually I'm surprised is the equivalent of a 60 click bezel. You're
Hmm.
not able to get that half minute measurement in there.
It
So I
wasn't the
thought
spec.
that I guess not. Yeah, a little weird, but very cool. I'm going to spend some time with it. We'll talk about it, down the line, and who knows? This might be what changes my mind. It might be something that comes to the collection in the future, or I might just get the time that I need with it while I have it, and that might fulfill everything that I need to know. So who
Get it
knows?
out of your
I don't
system.
know. Yeah, perhaps. Um, so we totally skipped what we're wearing and what we're drinking.
We did.
So tell me, Joe. I'm just excited. This is a cool episode. I'm excited to get into it and talk about your Super Seville. But what do you got on the wrist, and what do you got in
Well,
the?
the goal today and the discussion today is wrapping up the year, and
Mhm.
it's difficult to discuss that without talking about Holy Grails. So it's the Hoyer.
Oh, you got
Got
that on, yeah.
The Hoyer on today, and I've got a couple fingers of Basil Hayden for my 9:48 in the morning
Well, it's
podcast.
5 o'clock somewhere.
So
I am wearing the bull. You know what? Maybe I'll just take it off. I'm a little far away from the camera here, but I'm wearing the
Julia
Jetstar.
Broad? No?
No, the Jetstar Merlot on
Huh?
my Python strap.
How is
So
that
I'm wearing
holding it?
that.
How is that strap holding up?
It's not too bad. So
It's gotten better?
the gentleman that I work with gave me some leather treatment.
Yeah,
It's like a beeswax, I believe, and I rubbed it in and treated it, and it kind of softened it up and uh, it
better.
tamed it a little bit. Yeah, it's a little better. It's not the scales aren't as dry and peely as they were originally, so I think it might last as long as I don't wear it on a daily basis.
It'll be fine as long as I
I
don't use it.
yeah, I have in a martini glass, just because I'm
Ooh.
fancy today, I have some coquito. And if you guys don't know what that is, it is a Puerto Rican drink. Um, very popular around the holidays. It's made with several different kinds of creams and milks and coconut, some
And
cinnamon,
rum.
but the key ingredient is the rum, and this has all of that in it. So that is what I'm drinking. Cheers, Joe.
Fantastic.
Merry Christmas.
Cheers. Cheers and salute.
Hmm. And I think it's worth noting, you took a page out of my book. You are sitting on your couch today,
We are festive.
a
We're
little
festive.
change of scenery.
We
If
get
you
the
guys
beautiful
hadn't
background.
figured it out, I'm behind my bar.
That's Mike's bar.
Yeah, so you can't see the bar per se, but I promise you I'm sitting behind it.
I've spent
But
time behind Mike's bar. It's nice.
it's it's actually pretty nice. I have a bi-level bar, so I have plenty of space here and an area to actually set my drinks on. So this might be the new home. This might be,
And there you go.
and yeah,
This
it
probably will
works.
not be. So
No,
don't
but I bet you're
don't get your
comfortable.
hopes up.
Are you not?
Hmm.
Okay. Oh, goodness. So, recapping,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk about our year with the show.
Okay.
We've had quite a few really good Bullet interviews.
Yeah.
We had TJ on.
Yeah.
We had Patty on this year, correct?
Yeah.
Of course, we've had Michael. We've had John and Donnell.
Mm-hmm.
Just a lot of cool conversations with people. Um, I was able to experience that whole Miami film preview, um, which is been pushed back for you guys out on the West Coast a
Yeah.
little bit,
Maybe
but
March.
yeah, that's what it sounded like. Um, what else? The when I bought my Super Seville, I did a review video on it. That is by far and away our best viewed video we've ever done. I mean, over 31,000 views right now, I think.
Yeah. You got that one up. I
Um,
got the surveyor video up.
you got that one done. We've gained quite a few subscribers to our channel, so thank you to everybody who's done that. Um, it's just been a good, fun year. This is episode 80,
Mm-hmm.
so this is what, going on, closing out our third year doing this?
Just about, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Which means like so if this works out about right, so end of next year, this time next year should be episode 100.
pretty close to it, yeah.
Yep. Well, I had to go back. I was
But
going back and look at the year review, and so we did about 60 episodes, or from the beginning. So it's 52 weeks a year, 20 episodes. It works out. It works out about right.
yeah, yeah. But it's been a lot of fun. Um, but a lot of people um, question how we come up with so much stuff to talk about, or if we get bored of it, or if we get burnt out. And it's a lot of fun because we're not here to take the show seriously. Joe and I are really good friends, and we've gone back quite a few years. And it's just kind of us getting together every other week and just having fun talking watches. And that's basically it. And you either like it or you don't. And we're
Well, the
not
other part
here,
too, there's that whole meme that all guys have a couple of different group chats with stupid names,
which we do.
and so those are active on a pretty regular basis all
Yeah.
day long. So there's a bunch of like we're sharing things that we see online because we don't follow all the same people. We have some similarities, but what do you think about this watch? What do you think about this watch? What about this one? And there's this conversation is ongoing, so it allows for some of the topics that we decide to discuss to develop naturally. But we're always looking for additionals. So if you've got suggestions, comment, we'll make it
Yeah.
work.
But as always, we do it, for the listeners too. I mean, it's nice to know that we're not just talking to ourselves. We could talk to ourselves,
In
offline
private,
if that's what we really wanted to do. But we're
we don't need
we
you for
just
that.
yeah, we just like the fun atmosphere, and it's almost kind of having a little virtual watch meet, not only with you and I, but with everybody who listens, because you guys can kind of see what we've got going on in our lives and our collections, and maybe it kind of inspires you to have these conversations with somebody else, and uh, it opens up the hobby in the community, and if we can provide you with a little bit of entertainment along the way, then that makes us happy too. We do enjoy getting the feedback and listening to the comments and the emails and the DMs that we get from
Yeah,
people
the fish tank
around.
comment was fascinating. My wife was thrilled, and of course
Yeah,
we've completely changed the fish tank since then. So sorry.
yeah.
Available. I don't think you want me to ship it to you though. It's like a 2 foot glass cylinder, not worth the
Well,
price of admission, but
maybe not,
available.
but at least you know how you can get one now.
All
So, but yeah, it's just thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for having fun with us. But
right.
in our collections, we've had quite the year, as we usually seem to. I originally wanted to go back and count how many watches I bought this year,
Yeah.
and I couldn't keep track of it. I
Really?
really genuinely don't know how many watches I bought this year.
Oh, see, I've got that. I
Do you
actually
really?
I
Well,
do.
because you track that. You
I
use
do.
that spreadsheet that I created.
Yeah, the one
I
that you
made
gave me.
it essentially for you because I
Right,
don't use it.
apparently. Yeah. Yeah, it's 13 for me.
You bought 13 watches.
Oh, I got 13 watches. I have
Okay, we got
13.
13
I have
watches.
13 new watches.
Gotcha. Of
We can
those
discuss.
watches, yeah, of those watches, um, I guess we'll start with, what is your favorite purchase of the year?
Oh, the Hoyer, 100%. Oh my God.
For sure.
You know?
So I too have been lucky enough this year to spend some time with one of these as well.
Yeah. Well, with
And
that one also, I bought
and
that
this
one.
one too. Yeah, they were actually together at one
Hmm.
point. two of these in one room at the same time is
Mhm.
extremely rare thing to happen. There's just something special about it when
It's
you
neat.
wear it. Yeah, it's just really, really cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
The
would love to
bracelet.
know how many of these actually exist.
I was just thinking that. I have no clue. It'd
Yeah,
be really interesting to know.
yeah.
But yeah, that's without question. That's the highlight. Well, it is one of the high of my purchases. That's the highlight. We'll put it that way.
Okay.
Okay.
What else do you got?
Oh, for the other one was the it's the EPSA, the
This
Super
one
Compressor.
here.
Yeah.
So that was this year? I
Yeah.
thought this was a last year watch.
Mm-mm,
Huh.
mm-mm. That was the other one, the two crown.
Okay.
This one, that watch is remarkable in its ability to convince you once you get it, because it doesn't look it in pictures, but and
Hmm.
you know, because I brought it with me when I
Hmm.
came to visit you, that one is just phenomenal on the wrist. It
Yeah.
wears so incredibly well. The lugs are long, and but it wraps on the wrist. The dial is fantastic. The bezel is great. Like everything about that watch is pretty
And
special.
that's I think what makes this one that much more special is that bezel. These
Yeah.
bezels, because they're a plastic bezel and
Yeah.
they just get so beat up and worn. But to have yours that is so intact
Yeah. Yeah.
is a very rare thing. And I mean, the pinnacle of skin divers, 60 skin divers. I mean, that's
Probably.
what this
I would
is.
I would throw it up there. I mean, you're looking at, so the deal with these is EPSA made the cases, and so they didn't make the watch. They just made the cases
Mhm.
available, and so there's a lot of variation in dial for that case because a bunch of different companies did that. But this is the first iteration. There were a lot more companies that ended up doing the dual crown, which there's two sizes for that. But this one, there aren't quite as many. They definitely don't hold up because of that bezel, and so you don't see them quite as often. You definitely don't see them in this kind of condition. So yeah,
Mhm.
that was a real special watch.
What about some other highlights throughout the year?
Honestly, that's kind of it for me, at least in terms of favorite purchases. But highlights, the first one is the it would be the
Is that
the Invicta.
is that this big boy here?
It's the Invicta, which was very the backfired gag gift from you and Watches with Oliver
Yeah,
that
it really was.
has been well received by all of the high end collectors that I've shown it to. Like pictures of that with AP and Royal Oaks and subs and just
And
you name
this
it.
photo that you have of it here really does not do this watch justice.
It's a hard one to capture,
Yeah.
because there's so much depth to the crystal. The watch is so freaking tall. It's
Hmm.
just giant, all things considered. I mean, if we want to put it in comparison, because I've got them both right here.
Do you?
So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
so just in terms of size, it's giant.
It's a massive watch.
You know.
Yeah, this was fun. And this started with you guys sending me that Pagani design Royal Oak chronograph look-alike kind of sucker. And then Oliver, he got real excited about this whole thing. Oh, what are we gonna get for Joe? We got to get something for him that's just as bad. And what's
Just
the
as
brand
bad.
you turn to is Invicta, right?
Oh yeah.
'Cause nobody likes Invicta. And then nobody likes these gigantic ones either. So I said, we got to find the biggest because for a while you guys went somewhere and saw one in a jewelry store or something like that. And it
Yeah,
was
one of the repair guys in our area, he had this green thing, and it was, God, it was funny. It, but it's the strangest thing because you when you actually put the watch on, like if it's sized and you wear it, it is nowhere near as bad as you think it is, or it's gone full circle around to bad that it's almost good again. You know, it's like the deep fried Twinkie of the watch world. Chocolate covered bacon, or you gotta.
Uh, but yeah, so we decided to look for the thickest, biggest, ugliest watch that we could find, and that's what we came across. And as it turns out, everybody loves it.
Everybody loves it. Yes, it is 100%. Well, also because I think because the pink helps, the fact that it's a GMT helps, the fact that it actually wears relatively well. It's heavy as hell, but it is pretty
Oh, I'm
comfortable.
sure.
So, all things considered, it's not an awful, awful watch. It's just an awful watch.
That's well, that's funny. What else do you got for
So the
a
absolute
highlight?
highlight, though, the highlight of my year is the Viceroy.
Yeah.
That
Which
watch.
so strikingly similar to your Bulova.
It's up there. It's the similar. That's a caliber 12. The Bulova is a caliber 15. So the Bulova has the asymmetric dial where the
Mhm.
instead of having a subdial at 9, it's got a subdial at 10. The the handset is similar but not identical. The dial is similar but not identical. The case is the same. Um, and almost the bezel's real close too. But
Mhm.
that watch was my dad's, and he's decided he's not going to wear it, so he gave it to me for my birthday. And that'll be a watch that you will not see on Instagram. Like that's the only picture of it, and it's going to stay in the watch box, and that'll go to my son when it's time for him to get a good watch.
So you'll never wear this watch?
Probably not. I probably won't wear that one.
That's
I might a
interesting.
couple of times special occasion watch, but generally not.
Why not wear it?
Because um we my dad and I talked about it, and he said whenever you want it, just let me know. I'm like it's not for me. It's for my son, and partially because it doesn't quite go in with my collection, and also because that's an heirloom watch, and I've got watches that fit that niche. I've got, and then more importantly, to be really honest, I don't remember my dad ever wearing that watch. He was jogging with it and he fell and broke the crystal. And so he put it in a box. I don't remember it at all until I started getting into watches, and then he decided to try to get it fixed. I have the watch I remember him wearing. I have that Seiko DX,
Hmm.
and that's the watch I remember him coming home from work in. And to me, that's more of my father's watch. But for my son, this could be his grandfather's watch, and I think that that's a special thing. So I'll keep it for him, and he can have that when the time is right.
That's a cool story.
It's a cool story, and it's nice to be able to manage and appreciate the heirlooms while the heir is still around. I guess is a nice way to put it.
Well, yeah, yeah, for sure. What
Granddad will get
year
to see
is
grandson wearing it.
when did he get that? What year? Do you know?
Um, he doesn't quite remember it. I've done the research on it, and the case it was produced in 72 and 73. My bet it's a 72. That's when he got it. But like he sent in the box tops, so that's the deal.
Hmm,
Yeah.
very cool. I mean, your story, your watch. I feel like from time to time you got to wear it. Just because it adds to the story a little bit. It's not just, when your son gets it, it's not, well, this is my grandfather's watch. It was my grandfather had this, and then he passed it to my dad, who wore it, and then my dad passed it to me. You don't, I feel like you don't want to leapfrog yourself in this story.
No, I don't think I'm going to, but it's definitely not it won't be a daily. It's not going to be in the rotation.
Not
You
a not
you
a daily
probably won't
thing,
see pictures of it like that. That may be we that might be an anniversary thing or a birthday thing. It's not going to be an everyday thing.
but something so that way your son can say, my grandfather's watch, but I remember my dad would wear it from time to time, and now
Yeah,
it's a special thing to me because it's gone through multiple generations.
yeah. Well,
I,
that's what
I
it is.
I
It's a special
feel,
occasion.
and it's just me. It's just you have to add to that story too.
No,
So
you got to wear
don't
it
let
because it's an automatic, so
yeah
it needs to get some wrist time just to make sure that everything stays lubricated. And it's in for
yeah
repair right now, which is going to be significant.
it is there already.
Yeah, yeah. I took it
Oh,
up. I took it up a couple weeks ago. So Magic Hands has got that one, and we'll be working on it when time provides because it's like trying to work on a Jaguar engine, 12 cylinders spread out everywhere. And of course, the problem is probably right in the middle of the watch. So you got to remove the module, you got to take everything apart, and it's probably right in the center. And so it's going to be a hefty number for
a
that.
hefty bill,
Yes. And it's a big watch too. So it kind of goes,
but worth it. It's
yeah.
worth it for the story.
I gotta think like if we talk about episodes, probably highlight for me was the Richard Accutron episode. Finally getting Richard to be able to come on and speak with us was pretty up there.
That that was cool.
Uh-huh.
Richard live and in person is 10 times better than Richard on an interview.
Oh, I don't doubt it. I don't doubt it. Like he and I have had phone calls, and it's like, man, when you come out to the West Coast, we gotta go get a
You
drink.
guys, you guys got to hang out.
We
Oh,
gotta
he's
go at
fantastic.
minimum. We could. I'll bring you some bourbon. Come on, man.
Yeah,
Let's make this happen.
yeah, for sure. Um, I'll go through some of my stuff. I kind of categorized mine a little bit. Um, my favorite purchases, one of which I kind of remembered after the fact, so it's a little too late. But I think my absolute favorite purchase of the year is gonna be the Super Seville reissue.
Mm,
The value for money that you get in this watch is just phenomenal. The design of this is almost spot on to the original. I think, and I will go out on a limb and say that this is the best reissue that they've done to date, hands down. That's what I feel. That's it's
big statement.
I know, but it is, I think, the number two reissue that they would have done, I'm gonna say, is the Oceanographer, the LE, the V reissue, right?
Mm,
That
mm.
one, I I, I don't know if value for dollar it compares, and you don't get the accuracy that you get out of this watch. It looks fantastic, don't get me wrong. It's a phenomenal watch in its own right. I think some of the features that you get in the Super Seville just kind of bring it up a little bit over what that V would be.
I don't think I would argue that. I think I think I think I'll agree. I think I'll agree with that. And this is, I have the LE. I have that.
And you have it, yeah.
I have that. I don't think you're wrong. I don't think you're wrong. I think that this beats the Jet Stars. I think it beats the mill
Well,
ships.
the Jetstars I'm not putting in the reissue category because it's not really a reissue.
Right. I think
They are a modern interpretation of what the vintage was. So
it
they're
beats
definitely not
it
comparable.
it beats the Oceanographer G reissue. It beats
Yeah.
the surfboard reissue.
Yep.
It beats the parking meter. It beats the Stars and Stripes.
Yep.
It beats the Legacy
Now,
line.
now that's an interesting one. The Stars and Stripes, and you've made this comment too. When you see pictures of
Mhm.
the Stars and Stripes reissue, you really got to look at it and be like, okay,
Yeah,
you
no,
have
it's
to
good.
study the subdials because they're really close.
It's really good. It's really good.
Mhm.
I don't disagree with that.
The
But
problem with that is the size.
uh-huh,
That was very early in their reissue days when the sizes were a
uh-huh.
lot larger. Um, but I don't know. I just feel like the Super Seville was the watch of 2024 for them. I really do.
They wear so well. The bang for your buck is super high. The precisionist movement, and we've talked about this, maybe not enough. We've talked about it a lot though, and that I think that the precisionist movement is kind of an unsung hero of the Bulova watch world.
Hmm.
And so, like you pointed out, because you were looking at the spec sheet, they've leaned into the accuracy of the movement. It is not, and let's be clear here, it is not a high accuracy quartz. It's not an
Hmm.
HAQ watch. And the HAQ purists are quick to point it out. It doesn't have thermal compensation, it doesn't have that. And it doesn't have the purported accuracy that throws it into HAQ territory. However, it's thousands of dollars less typically,
Hmm.
and and it maintains the same level of accuracy without those benefits. So there are people who have this watch and it's maintaining under HAQ spec and has for years. So
So
it's a
last I
fantastic
heard,
movement.
it the movement had gone back for testing again for accuracy.
Mm,
It was it 5 seconds per month? I think
something
is
like
when it
that.
first came out. Now it's 10 seconds per year, I believe,
Which is stupid.
which is for that price point, yeah. For not
Stupid.
being thermally compensated, yeah. But when these stone dials came out, if you look in the product description of the stone dial watches, in there it does say increased resistance to temperature.
Mm,
So I'm curious, are they starting to lean in the direction of possibly making it a high accuracy quartz? Is just the
I
beginning
don't
stages, or have they found a way to play with that in some way with the
I
crystal
think
or something?
I think you're looking at playing with it because the dial is different. And so you've got the little bit of the insulation coming from the stone. And so that may be a part of it. But also the movement has changed. It's an evolution of the movement. So that may also play a part. It's hard to say, and we're gonna have to take a deep dive into that with somebody from production at some point just
Yeah.
to find out kind of how this works because man it's a cool movement and I think there's going to be some really really great things that come from that in the future. Like don't sleep on the precisionist movement. That's all I'm saying.
No, not at all. And
Hot
you can
take.
get into one for cheap now. So they
Yeah, you
brought these
can.
back
You can.
last year in the Jetstars, which, as always, over time, you can find them for a discounted price. Bulva themselves have been discounting them recently. You can get them from various other retailers and ADs at a discounted
Yeah.
price. I think you can get into a Jetstar for around what, 350, 450 in that range.
I
And
don't
that's
know. You're
got,
the Jetstar guy.
yeah, that's got the precisionist movement in it.
Yeah.
So
The
even
other
if you
thing that's
want to
funny
just
too, though,
experiment with one and wear it and see what it's like for that price, you cannot go wrong.
when you look at them though, when you see them on the secondary market, like you see them on eBay, you see them for sale, they're holding price relatively well too. Like you're
Mhm.
not finding those for typically under $300. And
Yeah.
some of these watches are almost 10 years old, you know. So it's holding value relatively well. That's the movement. It's the movement that's in that snorkel reissue that we both have. And
Hmm.
those are going up too. It's really, really interesting. It's like here's a quartz watch that's becoming valuable
Yeah.
for a given it's not an investment. Let's be fair. But
Yeah.
you're not finding them for under $100. You're not
Yeah.
finding them for under $200 anymore. You know,
Yeah. Yeah. But like Michael had said one time before, it was really Citizen's gift to the brand when they were acquired. And it's proprietary to Bulova. Citizen doesn't even use this in any of their watches.
no,
You got to come to Bulova if you want something like
yeah,
that. And really, it's a high accuracy. Is it a high accuracy quartz killer? Maybe, but it's
maybe.
it's definitely giving them a very good run for their money.
You can get the same statistics at a much lower price point. So
Yeah. Another a purchase highlight is my Bull of a Spinnaker. Remember that watch?
god damn.
The reason why that's a highlight is because I was able to turn that into my vintage Super Seville, which I don't have a photo of because I thought about it as I was preparing for this episode here. But this is the stainless, the round stainless, your traditional Super Seville day-date fluted bezel with a black dial,
Yeah.
which is a watch that I have been wanting for quite some time. Um, and I was able to turn that dare I say poor Spinnaker choice into something that I really, really wanted. So I know like the gentleman that I traded for it has the other version of the Spinnaker, so now he has both. So I feel like he's fairly happy with his choice as well. Um, but that Spinnaker was just a watch that I don't get. I just don't get it.
Follows into your regrets category.
Well, I don't know if it falls into my regrets category. It probably would have if I was still stuck with it, but I was able to turn it into something cool.
There.
Um, I bought it well, and so I didn't lose any money on it, and that's the only reason why I did buy it. I got to experience it. It's a cool little watch. I just don't get the hype behind it. I don't get why at one point these were 18, 1900, $2,000 watches.
Yeah. Doesn't
I
make
don't
sense.
know. Doesn't make any sense.
Doesn't make sense.
Um, my my most unexpected watch of the year,
Yeah.
the Louis Gerard. And this actually all transpired when you were here visiting.
It's true. Yeah, I remember. I remember. And I gotta say, like for you and for what it is that you like about watches, that's such a perfect fit for you.
Hmm.
It really is. Like when you said that he was gonna when you dropped the story, I'm like, that's perfect. You will absolutely wear the hell out of that watch.
So I won't say who it originated from because that's neither here nor there. And if
Not
the
the mystery
gentleman,
collector, but let's
if
be
the yeah, if the gentleman is listening, he knows and he knows how it all went down. But this
cheers to you,
was
sir.
and I will very openly say that this was a gift from somebody. This is a watch that I could never afford. It's well outside of my comfort zone of what I spend on watches.
Have you priced those recently?
Yeah,
What's the range?
between 4 and 5 thousand.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
So
these
that's
are.
it's the interesting part because that's not super high end for watches of that type, right? It
Mhm,
is a custom artistic regulator style. There are chronograph versions from Louis Rod and some of the collaboration stuffs that they do, but
mhm.
that one in particular for you, I'm 100% behind that. I think that was a great pickup for you.
It ticks all my boxes.
Uh
It
huh.
really does.
I hate
Um,
it with red hot fury.
but that's why he offered it to me in the way that
Yeah.
he did because
No,
he
I
said,
get it. I get it. And again, it's one of these moments. It's like, okay, I am thrilled for you. I would not have that watch at all.
"Hmm."
That watch does nothing for me in the slightest. But for you, God bless.
And you can see in the photo here, I had a custom made Arabian lizard strap for it. I wanted something that's just equally as crazy as the watch itself. You can kind of see some of the black coloring in the stitching in the strap a little bit. It does get a little thicker as it wraps around underneath your wrist. But it's all custom sized. Even the length is a length that I specified so the tail doesn't wrap all the way around my wrist and that I can use the Louis Gerard buckle. The whole thing, it's just as unexpected as it was and who it came from. And
In terms
what
of
it
story, man, it's killer.
but yeah, and what it means to me and to be part of the watch family that would think to do something like that is just, I mean, hands down a watch that will never leave. Ever, never leave. It doesn't matter what the values of these jump to, it does not matter. Um, so yeah, that's probably my most unexpected watch of the year. Um, my most controversial watch, and no stranger to the channel or to the
Mm,
show, the Yama Yachting Graph.
that one?
This is, oh, come on. This is the most controversial watch between us that I have bought in all year. Such stark differences in opinions.
That
We've
one?
had, well, the Yachting Graph in general,
That one?
you only like slash hate this one because I bought it after I got the one that I shouldn't have bought.
That's the one. That's the controversy. This one makes a little bit more sense. This one I get. This one, I'm okay with it. It would probably piss me off in the same way that the other yachting graph did, but at least I get it. It makes better sense. It's not yellow.
Yeah, but don't, no. I'm not buying
Mm,
that anymore
mm.
because, as you said, and I quote, the yellow is not as bad as I thought it was.
It's not as bad. It's still yellow.
It's not yellow.
Okay,
It's
canary. What do you want to call
it,
it?
it's canary accents.
It's fucking yellow.
Okay. Well, I'm curious to hear your thoughts on my next one, which is, I think, the coolest watch that I've picked up this year. And that is the 1979, the original Timex Q in exceptional condition. I think this watch is so cool. I got the Q reissue with the Snoopy dial when these came out in 2019. And I had kind of secretly wanted to get an original one, and they're very, very few and far between. And especially because they're chrome plated cases, to find one that's not scratched, not pitted, anything like that is even harder. So when this one came up, and locally, I know the gentleman who was selling it. Um, he came over, brought it with him for me to check out, and I'm like, yeah, hands down, I want it. Just super cool. The old Timex quartz still has a electronically controlled balance wheel in it. You can hear the thing ticking away. It just it looks cool. It's just a little cool piece of Timex history. I think by far and away probably the coolest watch that I've picked up this year. Very fun.
I don't know. I don't know. That one, I don't know. Those watches don't speak to me. And I am also not a big Pepsi fan. The red and blue colorway just doesn't really float my boat. It never has. And it's for whatever reason, like I much prefer red and black to red and blue. So for me, it's always the Coke configuration over the Pepsi, just 100%. Um,
And I agree with that for you.
well, and but that's that's for me, and for you, okay, sure. For me, I don't know, man. I don't know. That doesn't it doesn't do it for me.
It's playful and fun and a watch that you don't have to take too seriously. And I think that's just what makes it cool. You can put it on, there's no worry. It's not overly expensive, it's not overly valuable. It's just a fun, bright, happy little piece. That's just that's me.
If you say so.
I say so.
All right.
Um, and I'll piggyback off of your favorite moment for the show. Of course, it's going to be bull related because why would it be anything else? But I think
Do we need to start branching out?
it's not necessarily an episode, but it's an experience that I got to have because of the show.
Oh, shut the
And
fuck up.
again, but you know what? And you will have your moment too. Meeting everybody from the offices,
Yeah.
Michael, Patty, TJ, Richard, Richard's wife, Susan, Carl. I mean,
Yeah.
and then being introduced to other people, meeting Alex, the artist,
Yeah, that's
who's
cool.
going to be moving local to me here. So hopefully I get to hang out with him a little bit more. Just being able to shake their hands was just phenomenal. Everybody is just so much better in person than they are, on the interviews. The personalities just are different. It was a fantastic experience, and everybody just was very warm and welcoming. Exactly, they say don't meet your heroes. In this case, it's everything that you wanted them to be, that you hope they would be. So really, that's the highlight of when it comes to the show, of my year. But um, you were messaging with no, this was on your one of your posts. You had called out Complecto and said, "Hey, let's get together." And he said, "We're going to be in LA
February. Yeah, they're coming
or
out in
something."
February. So Complecto,
You know what that's for?
yes, I do. So in conjunction with this limited release, they did a short film, and I believe they're going to be entering that into a couple of competitions.
Hmm.
So West Coast premiere, and that should be a hell of a lot of fun. So if they get to come out, it's like absolutely, I got a bottle of champagne with Complecto's name on it. Well, I'm sorry, California sparkling wine.
Oh, okay.
Let's be precise here, but it's a pretty good bottle. So yeah, absolutely. Like if they come out, I'm love to go and hang because that'd be a ton of fun. Complecto, for those of you who don't know, and if you don't
Yeah,
follow,
explain what they are.
Complecto is a watch group, and it's the same. It's a meetup space, but they're doing a little bit more things online, and their goal is to try to make watch collecting accessible and to make watch collecting democratic, for a lack of a better term, but they're not embracing necessarily the high end. They're not embracing horology. They're not embracing investor style collectors. You know, they're looking at, if we're going to be honest, they're looking at our demographic and they're looking at our audience as who can we bring in and how can we bring these people together and what can we showcase. And so the brands that they've highlighted and the stuff that they have done and the choices that they have made. Now I do have a quibble, however, that Complecto were the choices that they made on these stone dials are meant to reflect, and part of their film is about the automotive scene and the car culture in New York. And as a Southern Californian, as someone who is adjacent to LA car culture and to Whittier and the lowrider culture, I beg your fucking pardon. So we will have conversations when you show up, and we will delve into lowrider culture.
Are they saying that New York car culture is better? I don't know if they're saying that.
That's a fight,
I don't know if they're saying that.
and you're
There's,
gonna you're gonna come to the West Coast and you're gonna try to drop that. Okay,
I don't know.
on vato.
I don't. You are the least Mexican person in the room right
Correct,
now.
I am, but at least I can pronounce it right because I grew up around it. So
Okay. Again, I don't know if they're saying that their car scene is better. I think they're just highlighting bits of New York, and that's fine. And there's car culture everywhere, and it's different depending on where you're at, geographically. And there's nothing wrong with that. Well, anything else you want to add to our year-end highlights?
The only other part about that is the fact that we are really getting ready to drop into the 150th anniversary.
Hmm.
And you and I have a little bit of insight into some of the things that are going to come.
Hmm.
And we may or may not have had a hand in some of the things that are going to come.
Hmm.
And I am massively looking forward to that. I think that's going to be an exceptional year. I think there's a lot of fun things that are about to happen. I think there's a lot of surprises that are about to happen, and stay tuned.
Don't make any unnecessary purchases because you'll wish you had the money when this stuff comes out. So I guess that's the only bit of advice that we can give you when it comes to what's coming for the 150th anniversary. All right. I guess that ends the year.
There we are.
Here we are. Well, Joe, for the last time.
How do we get in contact?
There it is. Well, Joe, today you and I make up the Spring Bar Podcast. You can find us on Instagram at the Spring Bar Podcast. You can email us at springbarpodcast@gmail.com. On a personal level, I am 120 clicks, all spelled out, one long word, 120 clicks. Joe.
And watch Taylor Youth, EUPH. All one word.
We are trying to decide what our first episode of the new year is going to be. So we're putting some thought into that. Hopefully it's something cool. And I think this might actually be
It works for you.
my continuing backdrop. I've tried a couple different things, but I kind of like this. It works out for me. So brings a little fun back into the show.
Dysfunctional.
We put the dysfunction into fun. That's for sure. Well, ladies and gentlemen, until next year, we'll see you in 2025. Cheers.
Cheers.